everyone here, everyone in this room, has the potential to be an outstanding speaker. Everyone in this room has the potential, perhaps yet untapped, to be every bit as effective as this speaker. This is President John F. Kennedy campaigning more than 50 years ago. He's the gold standard, widely accepted to be a master of the craft. And we will use him today as a competence model, someone we could try to model ourselves on. Now, some of you may be thinking, a typical motivational speaker coming up with this nonsense, I can be as good as JFK. To allow me to make a counterpoint, and it's this. It always seems impossible until it gets done. It always seems impossible until it gets done. How I got into the world of engineering. Now, how did I get into the world of public speaking? This is a more unique story. I believe that the seed was planted in me in the early 1970s. My late father was a mesmerizing speaker. He was a leader in Rotary International, and he would travel from club to club to town. And sometimes he'd take us along. 1971. I wish you could have been there. You would have heard him say this to his audience. In New Zealand, there's a tourist attraction. Visitors, they get into a boat and they're rowed into a cave. And it gets darker and darker and darker until they are surrounded by a darkness like no other, the darkness of a cave. And the tour guide calls, silence, silence. And after a while, you see a tiny little flicker. It's a firefly. A sparkle, another one. Hundreds, tens of thousands, and the cave comes awash with light. Darkness is dispelled by light. And then my father would remind his audience, and through me, he reminds all of you now, that you and I, we are like individual fireflies. With our tiny lights alone in this world, we cannot dispel darkness anywhere. But if we come together, citizenship ventures, charitable projects, together, despite our tiny lights, we can dispel darkness anywhere, everywhere. I'll never forget the way I felt. I felt an intense connection to my father. I felt emotionally empowered. But I remember complete strangers would come to my father and accord him a lot of respect, a lot of affection. And I saw this throughout his life. As a young boy, I got this sense for a first time. Oratory, public speaking was called oratory then. Oratory can be very powerful. And there was no doubt that I felt intensely connected to my father, intensely connected to him. But it was a long time ago, 1971. Time went on, and I more or less, it went into the abyss of my memory. Until I was at a PMI meeting, and someone came up and announced, we have a Toastmasters club. And I had only one thought in my mind. I want to speak like my father. And I joined immediately. And that, I believe, that seed, were it not for that seed, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. So here I am in two separate worlds. And I am determined to bridge them across the globe. And I'm going to need your help. So I will share with you what I have learned. I'll try to bring it down to 3 lessons. And I am not going to talk about the normal public speaking skills. end strong. Open with a bang. If you want to make a point, tell a story. Transitions are critical. Statistics put you to sleep. Stories sell. These are the skills that you can pick up from anywhere. But what I will share with you is a unique voyage that I made. What are the 3 lessons that only I could learn? Acknowledge and embrace the power of emotions. I struggled with this more than I care to admit. The fear of public speaking is not sensibly understood. It's my second finding. And the third was a gift, serendipity. I never expected it. But public speaking and storytelling are connection enablers. You can be speaking to the same group for a year and nothing. You can become a good speaker and speak to them and you all are all connected. Let me summarize the complete talk. I'm never wrong. Am I right? Is that a fact? Am I modest? It's a fact. This is the full talk. If you take lesson number 1, ignore the power of emotions at your own peril. Lesson number 2, anxiety associated with public speaking is inevitable. Everyone can overcome it. Practice, perspective, relaxation techniques. Lesson number 3, public speaking and storytelling are connection enablers. I'm going to end with a slightly unusual ending because I'm an engineer. But it troubled me. I heard a YouTube talk of a venture capitalist telling, PowerPoint is bullshit, it means nothing, I can make it up, and it's true. What works is a prototype. How can I try to bring prototyping into this in a way that you buy? I'm going to just try to give you the best example of a prototype to show you the power of public speaking. So I am going to do 5 minutes, 1/3 of a great speech to expose you. And we're going to share it. I'm going to do 2 to 3 minutes. John F. Kennedy is going to do the other 2 to 3 minutes. But treat it like a prototype. This is not about showing us the greatness of John F. Kennedy. It's about understanding and feeling the power of oratory. What all I have to do for a prototype now? I have to try to look presidential. We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike, that a torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, to assure the survival and the success of liberty. To those nations who would make themselves our adversary, we offer not a pledge, but a request, that both sides begin anew the quest for peace. Before the dark powers of destruction, unleashed by science, engulf all humanity in a planned or an accidental self-destruction. But neither can two great and powerful groups of nations take comfort from this present course. Both sides overburdened by the cost of modern weapons, both rightly alarmed by the steady spread of the deadly atom. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. This country was founded. Each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. Now the trumpet summons us again. Not a call to battle, though embattled we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own. I want to stress to you, this is a prototype. This is not about the greatness of John F. Kennedy, though greatness aplenty he has. It is a demonstration of the power of public speaking which is available to everyone in this room. It is an example, a competence model of what happens when a young man comes to relish oratory, to champion it, and leave us with this legacy. Every leader can be a better leader by being an expert public speaker. Every one of you in this room, you are a leader. You are an ambassador for ASQ. We want you to be an inspiring person. Everyone in this room wants you to be an inspiring person. We need inspiration. Because in order to build our companies, our communities, our country, we must all exceed our own expectations. Every ASQ professional can aspire to greatness in public speaking. Thank you.